My Neighbour is My Enemy?
My Neighbour is My Enemy, yeah. This is actually in the line of the Jacob Rees-Mogg one. This is actually, I don't know whether it's Ian Duncan Smith, who I find it makes my skin crawl when I see him on TV. I just think the man's a bully. And I was thinking of bullies when I was making this image. So what we've got is the Ian Duncan Smith, rather smug little smile going on there, self-satisfaction look on his face. How he always seems to come across nowadays. I mean, it's not the same when he was leading the Conservative Party, but nowadays he just seems a bit like sort of an attack dog for the Conservatives. So what I've done here is I've incorporated, I was thinking of what kind of bullies do I know, sort of from popular culture and from various different sources. So you have Mr. Punch, who's a bully. You have Biff Tannen from Back to the Future 3, who's a bully. You have the guy, I think it's Nicholas van Hoestein, was a notorious slum landlord. And his idea of evicting people wouldn't pay rent was to lob grenades through the front doors, which he never did, but that said what he would do. And Katie Hopkins, who again is another deplorable person who just says things to get a rise out of people, but again very bullying kind of culture. And then in the background we have one of these US aircraft carriers sort of steaming over the horizon to cause trouble and bully us into some sort of colonial thinking. And the only difference with this one, with a lot of the other ones, is that the photograph, the background, the sea, is actually one that I took. I live down by the coast, so now I'm incorporating more of my own photographs, especially for the backgrounds, and to create a much more quieter, serene kind of landscape in which for these figures to sit in. The light down there is amazing because you're right near the sea, it diffuses the light and you get really soft shades of blue and grey. I mean, sometimes it's the complete opposite. I mean, that's the other thing, it changes so much. So that's why I put that in. And then again, like with the Rees-Mogg, using various other sources, paintings. I mean, what's great about Photoshop, you can use some of these brushes that are splats, you can use them like rubbers, so you can actually take out colours and get this sort of drippy effect, which are actually used by creating an eraser from it. And yeah, you can build up, and again, you just wait for the moment where the picture says I'm done. As I've said to other people, my problem is working on a small laptop, you don't really know how big they're going to be. And this one was actually quite a surprise. I was surprised how much I liked this one, because I was never sure of it when it was on the screen. But when I got it printed up and I got it on the wall here, like it is now, I think it works really well as an image.
How important is it that people recognise the person underneath when the identity is...
That's a good question. I'm working on that because I think it is important, because obviously portraiture is a document of identity, and usually the portrait will be the title of the subject. Now, I didn't do that, but I am now incorporating that. I have my titles, which I find from various sources, as I've explained, but in brackets I will put the subject of the picture, so when people look at it, if they can't, I mean, I would recognise that as Ian Duncan Smith. People did recognise Jacob Rees-Mogg, but then a lot of people did say to me, who are they? So it is a bit of a problem. Well, it's not a problem, it's just an issue that I'm dealing with now. So I think, yes, it is important that we know who it is, and I will make sure from now on they do know when it's specific. When it's not specific, it's not that important, then I won't worry so much. I mean, like some of the other ones.
And you have specific reasons why you choose the particular images you choose.
Yeah.
You've got the American aircraft carrier there, and the coast of England where you live is very military.
Oh, it is incredibly military. Yeah, it's got a lot of history, especially from the war. We're 21 miles from France. You can see France on a good day. The whole of that coastline is lined with Napoleonic forts, the Cinque Ports and the Martello Towers. You can imagine, you can sit on the cliff tops of Cafe Dover, and you can just imagine seeing waves of planes, and it's an incredibly loaded environment. And I live right opposite a firing range as well. And I mean, the other day they were God knows what they were shooting, but it sounded like World War Three, and that goes on constantly. And I quite like the edginess of that environment, because it is very beautiful, and in places it's quite remote and serene, but at the same time in places like Dungeness, which are fantastic, and then you've got this huge great big atomic power station sitting there, and you do worry, you know, not worry, but you realise things, and that sort of paradox is something that I'm trying to get a sense of, I won't say schizophrenia, but definitely paranoia.
Well, there's definitely a sense of conflict.
Yes, yeah.
With the choice of imagery, the big graphic portraits, then the layered imagery.
Yeah, it's all. I mean,
top,
as I've said before, and all this work kicked off when I moved down there to that neck of the woods. When I moved down there, you know, before that I wasn't doing anything quite like this, and that and the referendum really focused my thinking and what I could do with my work. And you know, I think shows like this are benefiting the result of that kind of focusing on what I can do.